Hello, this is Roger from Catholic Mission Office, MSC Mission Office, and you are with us for Mission Alive, because the mission is alive, is very much alive. I'd like to speak to you this morning a little bit about our projects going towards disadvantaged youth. When I was in Papua New Guinea for many years, I was out in bush stations, out the rural parishes with many outstations. Schools were a constant difficulty. We had these little schools right in the remote areas, could be 1 hour or 2 hours on a bad road, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 hours walking to these little schools, mostly built out of what we call bush materials, with an iron roof and very little else. So remoteness of schools was one thing, stopping kids going to school, and also then achieving some gainful employment from the schooling. So there were not enough schools, and often in places, small population, there's not enough children to have a school, and it was too far for children to walk to other schools. There was a lack of school fees because of the remote areas. There was no industry, no cash economy, very much, and it was difficult to get to market, to sell goods, to have money. The roads were bad. The infrastructure was certainly not well developed. And often in places there was a lack of cash crop and accessibility to markets to sell a cash crop. When children got through school, there was a lack of jobs. Most of the country was and is still running on primary industry, agriculture, forestry. And development was certainly not what it could have been or should have been. Getting into high school, there were not enough places for children, and often the high schools were overcrowded, the facilities were not adequate. Because of the whole situation of education and jobs in the economy, there was a dropout rate. Children were selected out from grade 6, grade 8 and grade 10 because there were not enough places. So those getting through to grade 10, 11, 12 were a small percentage of the entire population of the youth. Those who dropped out were often disappointed, frustrated, felt they were no good, felt they were lesser citizens. Some could go back to the villages if they came from rural areas. Others stayed in the city with families, often in settlements, seeking jobs, maybe getting some work, but not work that you really needed an education for. So a lot went to crime because of frustration and anger with the system. And so you had a big crime rate. These are wider economic, political, cultural reasons why we have a lot of disadvantaged youth needing help. And this I quote from Papua New Guinea because that is my experience, but in other countries there are similar stories. And also on top of that, in general, the world population is increasing. Population in Papua New Guinea is far greater than it was at independence, far greater than it was when the first explorers arrived. Increase in population, increase in the number of children, difficulty of providing enough schools and teachers and everything else necessary for education, and at the other end there were not enough jobs. There is no real big industrial base that generates jobs. So there's a lot of reasons, and other people have probably analysed this in greater detail and probably more accurately than I have. So we cannot solve the problems. And in a sense, that's not the church's job, except to raise social awareness and to motivate people to seek solutions. It's too big. So the whole political scene, the economic scene, the finances, the whole need for infrastructure, the whole social structure. Into that too, a lot of girls didn't go to school because of the cultural factor. Men came first, women second. Sorry to say, but that's the fact. So we give a hand up to help people to achieve something, and it's up to them to take the opportunity to do something more. I remember hearing Mother Teresa quoted that as she and her sisters would go around the streets and pick up people who were sick and dying and give them a place. Others who worked with her and others who were perhaps critical, saying, that's just a Band-Aid measure. You're not solving the problem. And she said, it's not my calling to solve the problems. My calling is to pick people up and care for them. It is up to others to solve the bigger problems. And in all of that, the mission is alive. So if we're working for for social justice, for social change, for infrastructure change, it's not divorced from Christian mission, because that's where we're giving people a better life. So whatever your mission today is, I hope you get on with it cheerfully and happily. We'll be back with Mission Live tomorrow. Thank you.